So it happens a lot in my travels that I am driving down a road, I am on my way to a destination, and suddenly on the side of the road you see the green sign that says cemetery with an arrow pointing towards wherever that cemetery may be. Now that cemetery could be right off the road, or it could be 30 minutes out of your way. This one happened to be about 10 minutes out of my way. It's the Union Mission Cemetery. I had no planes coming here, didn't know it existed until I turned down this dirt road and made my way down here. It's a very fascinating little cemetery. So there used to be a church here, but it is no longer here, it's gone. But the cemetery is still here. So we're gonna take a look at the cemetery and see what we can find. So inside the cemetery, we have a stone monument that gives us a little bit of the history of this location, which is quite nice. Another stone monument that tells us who is the people responsible for these monuments, who is responsible for the upkeep of this place, making sure it looks as good as it does. That being said, it's a pretty rough little cemetery. There are no freestanding stones currently. There is a memorial over here we're going to go take a look at, and there's a large memorial here, but then the rest of the graves, you can kind of make them out in the background, are just signified by small metal plaques. So this big stone thing is actually holding the monument stone for this person. Let's take a look at it. So this is the monument stone for Reverend Chapman, who died in 1825 at age 32, who is the first missionary to the Osages. Can't quite make out the inscription, but you can tell obviously by the condition of the stone before it was even laid in this thing that it was in rough condition. Probably found broken in many pieces on the ground, and so it was then placed inside of this concrete block, which obviously has seen better days, and then erected by the Northeastern Teachers College in 1932. It has protection from the elements in this this little covered awning area, but obviously I don't know if that's vandals, I don't know if it's just age, wear and tear, but this is the only freestanding structure here. This one simply reads, "Freed infant slave." Sometimes I forget which part of the country I'm in, and the fact that the history here is a little rougher than where I'm from, where it's just mining towns and people dying in mine fires and mine disasters and just wear and tear of the Old West. So this piece right here is the Choto family graves. Let's take a look at the marker at the inscription here to kind of find out a little bit more history about why this is here. So as you can see, it says the family graves were originally located southwest of the cemetery, but were desecrated by vandals. The markers were discarded by farmers late in the 1900s, rescued and moved for permanent memorialization here in 2001, which is pretty nice. I don't know if these stones all over the place were pieces of other markers and just interred here with these ones, but these are the main ones. Obviously you can kind of make them out. They're really rough, especially since they're facing up to the elements. When it rains, it's just gonna pool up right there. It says Minerva, I believe. So it's awesome that they did this, but by placing the markers up, face up like that, with no covering whatsoever, unlike the one over there, those stones are just going to get rougher and rougher until you really aren't going to be able to make them out. So as you can see behind me, we have all the markers. I'm not going to go through all of them. I took a little bit of B-roll of them. They're pretty simplistic. We can take a look at one of them. This one just says Redfield Child 1827 to 1834. No name of this child. It is leaning against a stone, a rock. I don't know if that used to be a memorial stone or if it's just placed there to kind of hold things up. You can see that a lot of them do have the stones right behind them. I'm gonna hope that those were the original markers, that those were the original tombstones for these people, because that would generally mean that this is actually where they are interred. Sometimes, you know, stones can be picked up and moved wherever, as we've already seen in this cemetery. But there's a bunch of them, and unfortunately, it's mostly children. I like finding these cemeteries off the side of the road. I like going on little adventures when I'm driving somewhere and I just see cemetery this way. I will more often than not take that detour to go check them out, to the annoyance of my family sometimes, but I'm glad I got to take you guys along on this little trip. Not much to see here, but it is a nice, and it's hard to say nice when you can obviously see it's a little worn down, but it's very interesting. I'm glad I stopped here. But I was going somewhere, so I've got to get back on the road. So until next time, be safe, be respectful. I'll see you then.